The flames licked higher as I dragged her broken body from the wreckage, my lungs burning with smoke. I thought she would cling to me, cry, or at least whisper, "Thank you." Instead, as her eyes fluttered open, her first words cut deeper than any fire could. My hands shook, my heart racing. Not from the rescue, but from what she said. In that single moment, I realized this wasn't just about survival. This was about me, her, and a truth I wasn't ready to face. Most days, my life felt like a cycle of survival. I woke before dawn, packed lunches for my daughter, dropped her off at school, then slipped into my janitor's uniform for another long shift. The halls I cleaned shined with the wealth and power of people I'd never belonged to, yet I worked quietly, unnoticed, a ghost among CEOs and executives. My daughter was my anchor, the only reason I pushed through the exhaustion and loneliness. Love, that wasn't in the cards for me. I told myself those chapters had ended the moment her mother walked out, leaving me with nothing but a crying baby and overdue bills. My heart had hardened, but there were nights when I'd sit in the dark, wondering if anyone would ever see the man beneath the uniform. Ironically, the one person who did notice, me though never kindly, was her. The CEO, my boss. She walked past me with heels clicking like gunshots, her perfume lingering in the air long after she was gone. She was beautiful, yes, but untouchable. She didn't see me as a man, only as the janitor who polished her floors. And I thought that was all we'd ever be. Worlds apart, her in her glass tower, me in the shadows below. I never imagined fate would drag us together through fire, metal, and smoke, and that her first words after I risked my life for her would shatter me more than any rejection ever had. The night of the fire started like any other. I had just finished mopping the marble floors of the building lobby when the alarms erupted. At first, I thought it was another false drill, until the acrid smell of smoke wrapped around me like a chokehold. People rushed down the stairwell, their polished shoes clicking wildly, their expensive suits smeared with panic. I kept searching through the haze, my instincts screaming that someone was left behind. That's when I saw her car, a sleek black machine, crumpled against the concrete wall of the parking structure. Flames licking at the hood, and inside, motionless, was her. My boss. The woman who barely spared me a glance. My legs moved before my mind could protest. I yanked at the door handle, coughing as the fire cracked and spat behind me. For a terrifying moment, I thought I was too late. Then I saw her chest rise faintly, her head tilted against the seat. My heart pounded as I wrapped my arms around her, pulling her limp body free. Heat seared my skin, smoke filled my lungs, but I didn't let go until I carried her out onto the pavement, away from the inferno. Her eyes fluttered open just as the paramedics rushed toward us. For a moment, her gaze met mine, those sharp, commanding eyes, now glazed with fear and disorientation. I expected gratitude, or even relief. But instead, her lips parted, and she whispered words that cut deeper than any flame ever could. "Don't let anyone see me like this. Not thank you. Not you saved me. Just shame, pride, and the desperate need to protect her image." I stood there, stunned, as they lifted her onto a stretcher. Around us, executives whispered, onlookers stared, and I felt the weight of her world crashing into mine. I had risked my life for her, and she was already building walls back up, pretending she hadn't been vulnerable in my arms. That night, when I finally tucked my daughter into bed, her little voice asked why I smelled like smoke. I told her I'd just had a hard day at work. But in the quiet after she fell asleep, my thoughts replayed her words again and again. Why did it sting so much? Why did I care what she thought of me? The truth clawed at my. Wasn't angry because she dismissed me. I was angry because I wanted to matter to her, and that realization terrified me more than the fire ever had. I thought I could bury it. Her words, the sting, the way her eyes had begged me to protect her pride, instead of acknowledging my sacrifice. But the more I tried to push it down, the heavier it became. Every mop stroke, every late-night janitorial shift, every moment I caught her reflection in the mirrored walls of the building, it all dragged me back to that night of smoke and fire. It happened 2 weeks later. She called me into her office. Not the usual clipped orders barked in the hallway. Not a casual dismissal with her eyes glued to her phone. No, she wanted to talk. I walked in, my uniform still smelling faintly of bleach. She stood behind her desk, polished and perfect again, like nothing had happened. But her hands trembled when she tried to set down her coffee. And when she looked at me, I saw something raw flicker beneath her armor. "I need to. Thank you," she finally said, voice breaking in a way I had never heard. But instead of relief, a storm surged inside me. My chest tightened, and words spilled before I could stop them. "Thank me. That night, I pulled you from fire. I carried you when you couldn't even breathe. And your first words weren't about living, weren't about my daughter, who could have lost her father. You just wanted to protect your image. Do you even understand what that did to me?" Her eyes widened, and for once, she had no script, no CEO mask, just silence, trembling, and a vulnerability she had always hidden. "I couldn't let them see me weak," she whispered, almost pleading. "I've built everything from nothing. If I let the world see me broken, I lose it all." Her confession cracked something in me. I understood her fear, her pride. But I also realized how dangerous it was to let her walls cage me too. And as I stood there, the distance between us electric and unbearable, a terrifying thought filled me. Maybe saving her wasn't the end of the story. Maybe it was the beginning of something far more dangerous. That night replayed in my head more times than I could count: the fire, the weight of her body in my arms, the sharp sting of her first words. But standing in her office, watching her carefully constructed mask crumble, I saw someone else entirely. Not the ruthless CEO who barked orders, not the woman who looked down on janitors like me, but someone terrified of losing everything she had fought for. I should have walked away. I told myself I had no business being in her world. I was just a single dad trying to keep food on the table, trying to be both father and mother to my little girl. My life was already complicated enough, and yet, her confession clung to me. The fear in her eyes mirrored my own: the fear of failing, of being seen as weak, of carrying the weight of people who depended on you. In that moment, she wasn't my boss. She wasn't untouchable. She was human. "Maybe strength isn't about hiding your weakness," I finally said, my voice steady. "Maybe it's about letting someone see it and still standing tall." Her eyes softened, and for a heartbeat, the distance between us shrank to nothing. I wanted to hate her, to walk away, and protect myself. But the truth was, I couldn't ignore the strange pull that had started the night I carried her out of that burning car. As I left her office, the question echoed in my mind. Was this the beginning of something I couldn't control? Or was I walking into the same fire all over again, just without the smoke and flames? Either way, I knew one thing for certain. Saving her life had changed mine forever. And sometimes, the real danger isn't in the fire outside. It's in the fire someone ignites inside you.